Welcome, sim racing fans, to the Bluegrass State, where the sun is setting, but the tensions are just now heating up. We're live from the virtual Kentucky Speedway for the Wonder 88, the penultimate round of the Bump and Run ARCA series. Welcome in here, of course, to Stam Studio Network. My name is Sean Stam, and sit back, relax, grab yourself a salty snack and a beverage of choice. You're not going to want to miss this one, as the battle for our points lead is actually starting, well, I say starting to heat up. Believe me, folks, it has been boiling throughout this whole season. At the top of the championship board, it's got to be Bud Shear who leads that charge, as well as right there sitting just 11 points behind him is Charles Van Schwick. Excuse me, that's Brandon Moore right there behind him. Excuse me, folks. There's Charles Van Schwick, P3. Dale Rapp. How about driver Sean Judson, Bill Hales, Brian Huntley Jr., Anthony Lane, Austin Mice, Travis Farmer rounding out that top 10 in the points. This is only the penultimate round. It's all going to come down to next Saturday night out at Phoenix Raceway. Tonight we got some racing from the Bluegrass State. Get ready to boot, scoot, and boogie, folks, as we are under the racetrack. Holy camera shot there. That was a good one. There we go. Back and above the racetrack here. Apologies here. We are going to have a 12-car field on our grid, but before we get into our grid, let's take a look at our track facts here, as well as that weather. We're sitting at about a cool 76 degrees ambient temperature Fahrenheit, 49. Ooh, 49% humidity percent there. Overcast skies, 10-mile-per-hour winds to our backs on that straightaway. There you see it in about the middle of your screen, 86 Fahrenheit track temp. We're setting an altitude about 515 feet. These engines got plenty of horsepower and oxygen to work with here tonight. This is the ARCA series. We are probably, I don't know. I'd be curious to see if we are running faster lap times than the next gen, as you'd think myself as a commentator producer would know something like this. Well, guys, we actually haven't been here to the Speedway and iRacing, as well as in real life out here at Kentucky for quite a few years now. Now we will take a look at our starting grid here tonight, brought to you by Extreme Scoring. Gonna have Brandon Moore. Well, real shocker there. He's gonna start here up on the pole. He will have, matter of our top 3 point leaders will be starting in our top 3 captain seats here. Brandon Moore, Bud Shear, Charles Van Schwick, Austin Mice is right there up with him. That number 97. Mice Motorsports has been fast this whole season. 0.09 seconds off that pole. Sean Judson starting at P5 from Fat Boys Motorsports. Travis Farmer made it out here tonight, number 13, starting P6. John Holliday, Anthony Lane, Josh Small, Gary Huffins, Dale Rapp, Robert Armall, rounding out 12 out of our 14-car grid. We've got Willie B. Roberts, as well as Xavier Salgado, rounding out that 14-driver grid. Real quick, before we get deeper into this race, I would like to thank learned not to cut to that camera there. Real quick, I would like to thank all of the sponsors and affiliates who make this all possible for us to bring you coverage here. Bearded Bear Custom Hides, of course, we got Admin Box. Also, Extreme Scoring, also the Bump and Run Cup Series, Race to Stop Suicide, Cotton Bowl Speedway. Yeah, there are just so many to name here. We really appreciate every single one of them here. As the lights are out on our pace car, welcome into the Wonder 188. We're going to have 125 laps of ARCA Series racing. The clouds are out and we are getting into sunset, so might be a little dark on your screen. Don't fret, these lights will be out on the pace car and the lights will be out on the Speedway in just a few moments time, or should I say on Speedway. Welcome in here once again to Stam Studio Network. My name's Sean Stam. We're going to have Brandon Moore, Bud Shear, Charles Van Schwick, our top 3 leaders up here in the points. This is going to be a nice run here to the, hopefully the checkered flag, hopefully some green flag racing. Get ready to boot, scoot, and boogie from the Bluegrass State. Green flag is out. The field is in Brandon Moore's hands as he will lead us up and through the gears into turn 1. Side by side for 3 rows back, and then that's Sean Judson, who is just our first car, who is now at the single most car, as we're starting to heat up this battle for about 4th and 5th between Travis Farmer. Looks like that will be Austin Mice, number 97, as here we go once again. Austin Mice, Sean Judson. Austin's clear, so is, speaking of clear, Brandon Moore out to the race lead. That made it look easy, but here we go once again. Bud Shear's going to have a nice run down and around that outside. Door quarter clear once again for Brandon Moore. One thing I did forget to mention in this pre-race, the tires mean the world here tonight, guys. You don't want to heat these right sides up early on as we hop on board with Travis Farmer here. He's looking up the hill out of turns 3 and 4. Matter of fact, he's going to get a little loose there out of Sean Judson on that lower side. There's Charles Van Schwick, our P3 runner in the points. Brandon Moore, Bud Shear still looking side by side. This will be a crossover move. Here comes 93. Bud Shear down and around looking for that race lead. You start to battle too much here. Here comes Charles Van Schwick, that number 23, Goat Lives Matter. McConey Setup Shop, number 97. Jeffrey McConey was just out there on the track in the real-life ARCA series. Did not have the run he was looking for. Austin Mice says, hey, Jeff, no fret here, buddy. I'll try and look. Oh, I thought Austin was about to look 3 wide here. We'll hop on board with him here as these battles are starting to heat up all throughout the racetrack. Welcome in, Terry. Welcome in, Ted. Every single one of you joining in here live tonight on Stam Studio Network. This being the penultimate round here tonight for our championship run in the ARCA series. Of course, that championship race is just coming up in next week, Saturday evening, live from Phoenix, the virtual Phoenix Raceway. Here's we hop on Brandon Moore's rear bumper cam. That's Bud Shear, who tried to make that outside work once again. We saw that crossover move happen into turn 1. Here comes Brandon Moore to try to play some defense over Bud Shear. Bud's not going to make the crossover work, as look at that Travis Farmer 13 mobile. He is looking for some clean air. He's finding it up the racetrack, although he's going to get right back on Charles Van Schwick's rear bumper, trying to avoid that side draft heading into 1. So something I do want to keep in mind here, folks, if we take a look at the lap time between these drivers here, well, for example, Travis Farmer compared to Dale Rapp here, they're about running mid-pack, but look at lap 1, 37, lap 2, 30. Okay, that's about our good running laps there. Lap 5, 30.8, lap 6 also at 30.8. We'll check in on these stats in about, give it 10, 15 laps. These tires, general tires, will be cooked off these racing machines once again if you just don't obey these ARCA cars here. Speaking of obey them, looks like Bud Shear got out to the race lead here once again. Austin Mice, McConey Setup Shop, looks to take away P2. And man, what happened there to Brandon Moore there? Brandon Moore had lost quite a few spots there that time, number 43. He'll try and dive it down the inside there. Oh, not going to make it work there for underneath Charles Van Schwick out there between 1 and 2 here. But if we get to this aerial camera shot here, once again, take a look at the different lines that are starting to accumulate here. No resin, no traction compound here in the iRacing universe. This progressive banking is really, the banking here in turns 1 and 2 is 17 degrees. Also 3 and 4, it's 14 degrees. Although these turns may look completely similar, they drive completely different from one another. Trust me, ask me how I know it. That safer barrier will sneak up on you as, man, Brandon Moore, he's trying to work his way back and up through the race field here after losing right now 4 spots since that drop of the green flag. Here we go, battle for the race lead once again. Austin Mice, Bud Shear. That's door quarter clear for Bud, but for how long? Austin Mice is coming with a head of steam. He's going to bring Charles Van Schwick right there with him. You got a shout out here, Bud. Charles Van Schwick and Bud, as well as I believe that was It was Brandon Moore earlier in the race, but these drivers, their whole season thus far, this is how that they've found themselves up here in P1, 2, 3 in the point standings. Brandon Moore has just had an immaculate race season, not even in this ARCA series alone, but there you see at the right top of your screen, the Bump and Run Cup series. If that is something you're looking forward to running, make sure you get with these drivers. This is not something you're going to want to miss out. The racecraft, the speed, the competitiveness between each one of these drivers, you can't get much better than it. We got old Sean Stam, Justin Yaw bringing you the Cup Series action. Just me, Sean Stam, tonight, producing, commentating, and directing. Looks like Austin Mice will tag that wall up there at a 4. That's what I mentioned earlier on in the race. That's a safer barrier will definitely start to sneak up on you. Here we're going to start to look. I thought it was going to be 3 wide. We'll settle it back down to 2. Bud Shear leading Charles Van Swick, Austin Mice, Dale Rapp, Travis Farmer rounding out that top 5. Some more side-by-side battling continue to ensue here between Mice and Van Swick. Take a look at this. Austin Mice is going to try and work this higher line of the racetrack. I don't hate it. Even more cleaner air off the front nose on that machine. But yes, there you see it. It is the longer way around. Quite a few cars are going to get into the wall here. That's going to be some contact there for, believe that was the 52 machine of Dale Rapp there. He's still continuing to run third. That got pretty nitty. That got pretty gritty out there on the back stretch. I'm surprised these drivers were able to keep that all straight. Green flag is still out on the speedway. Take a look at this here once again. I think it's just a chain reaction of cars in the wall here. Austin Mice is going to tap it once, twice, thrice after that contact there with Travis Farmer and the Dale Rapp machine. These drivers will sort it out here as we looked for a moment. 4 wide here, boys. That's the 9 of John Holliday who dove it in there. He very late got off the gas there. How about Gary Huffins, the 55? Very smartly getting down and off the race surface there if a caution did ensue between that wreck. Gary has also shown +3 spots since our drop of the green flag right now. Hey, Gary, you're having yourself a really nice run tonight so far, as our field is led by a Chevy SS. Right behind it, that Ford Mustang of Charles Van Swick. John Holliday, Toyota Camry, finds itself P3. Chevy, Ford, Camry. Toyota, excuse me. 1, 2, 3. Dale Rapp and Brandon Moore. This battle is starting to heat up between 3 Chevy SSs. Speaking of 3, we're going to put it 3 abreast. We'll call it back down to 2 here. Travis Farmer could have possibly cooked his tires just a little early on in this race. Remember, these drivers' best lap times are about 30.7s, 30.8s for a lot of these drivers. Now, if we look at these most recent lap times, already, look at these tires. Fallen off a cliff. 31.7s for Travis Farmer. That is already a second behind on their best lap times. Here we go, some more side-by-side battling here. I think Travis Farmer's just trying to stop the bleeding here. 70% fuel for these drivers. We should have, I believe, 4 tire sets. Welcome in to the name is escaping my mind right here. The Wonder 188 there. Back and to some racing action here. I'm trying to wonder why that name slipped across my mind. We'll keep it back under wraps here as Anthony Lane, driver of that 81, he's starting it to show some space, show some pace here tonight, excuse me. Got all my words jumbled and mumbled up. Number 81, I believe that is Silver Fox Racing there for Anthony Lane. He's going to dive it down the bottom lane, slide up there in front of Travis Farmer. Remember what happened earlier on in this race here with Dale Rapp. He was in P3 here, boys and girls. It looks like he could have a little bit of damage for that 52 machine. I don't see too terribly much at Trackhouse, although Dale is sitting 5 spots up since that drop of the green, he's continuing to lose even more. Here comes 55 of Gary Huffins down and around the inside. Battle for the race lead between Charles Van Schwick, Bud Shear, door quarter. Not quite clear. We're going to be even out of turn number 2. And remember, I mean, I mentioned it probably twice, about thrice in this race so far here. You really are going to have to baby these tires on a track surface that is more abrasive than girlfriend's shaving legs after about a week. You know what I'm saying there? It is just not fun to work with here. These General tires are, oh man, I'm barely hanging on at this point. Remember our best lap times of the race, 30.7s. We're working with 31.3s up here in the front of the back. Mid packs working with 31.4s, 31.6. Last lap for Anthony Lane. Door quarter, this time Charles Van Schwick will have Bud Shear clear, but for how long? As we get a nice shot at that engine compartment between Charles Van Schwick and Bud Shear. Just, hey, all I'm doing there is making sure Bud's not cheating there. Well, now we can switch back to the camera there. All 8 cylinders look to be firing off there. Well, Bud Shear, you keep it up there. Trust me how I know. I just was seeing the inside of that compartment. We'll work this down and through turns 3 and 4. Will start to become an issue in about, give it 15-20 laps if we can make it there, and a green flag run. I'll be right back with you here on Stam Studio Network. Hey, this is for you, the race fans that make this all possible. Enjoy the sights and sounds of Kentucky Speedway. Crank this back up before I get a little bit too excited up here in the booth, because right now we got this battle for the race lead. Although Charles Van Schwick is up out here in front, we got to take a look and remember those point standings once again there. I know we have the top 3 scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Bud Shear with 328 points. Brandon Moore just sitting minus 11 points back, as well as Charles Van Schwick. He sits minus 40 points back. Well, leading this race right now, he can possibly come away with the point standings win going into our championship race next weekend at Phoenix Raceway. It will be a race you will not want to miss. There comes some more side by side. Looks like it out of the corner of my eye there. Just John Holliday trying to get a little cleaner air on the front of his Toyota Camry. Here comes some more race battling here out on track. Ford versus Chevy. Travis Farmer makes his way back up to P6 where he started this race here, guys and girls. Anthony Lane's going to be Travis will bring Anthony Lane right there with him. Josh Small, number 12. That Ford Mustang runs 12 in the ARCA series as well as our Cup series. He finds himself 1 spot gain since the drop of the grid. We hop on board here with Josh Small, this driver out of Beverly, West Virginia. I'm not going to sing for you here. Take a look at what this driver does here, coming across the stripe and heads into turns 1 and 2. Does Josh take that inside line, gets a little cleaner air? That's exactly what he does. Anthony Lane's going to give him that bottom line. I say a little cleaner air. Of course, that Travis Farmer driver of the 13 that sits 2 car widths in front of him. And right now, if you guys are a driver, let me know in in YouTube land below. Where do you go if they start to get side by side in front? Do you start to cook those right sides just a little bit more, or try and slot back in line here? Just as we've seen Josh Small do, might be the smart move, as it looks like he will get that spot away from Anthony Lane. Not quite clear yet out of turn 1 and 2. Anthony will dive it down there in the higher side off that Silver Fox Racing number 81. Scrape that wall there off of the exit of 2. No harm, no foul there, just a little cosmetic damage. Will lose the spot to Josh Small. Here comes Gary Huffins once again, driver number 55. Right behind Gary, it's 2.5 seconds back, Austin Mice, then Robert Donwall, Dale Rapp. And Dale was up to P3 earlier on this race, I do believe. Right now sitting back in P12. Willie B. Roberts and Xavier Salgado did not make it out to this race, so that is why they are showing out on that timing and scoring graphic. Alrighty, we have seen this how many times, boys and girls, throughout this whole season. Once again, not even only the ARCA season, but as well as our Cup Series and Bump and Run. My goodness. Charles Van Schwick, Bud Shear, this is starting to get to the nitty. It is starting to get to the gritty, and before it does here, Brian Huntley Jr., real quick, if you are watching, my man, I hope that whatever happened there, I hope that you get back into feeling better, just faster than the blink of an eye, faster than a lap turns here at Kentucky and some ARCA cars, man. We're missing you out here on track. Just wishing you the speediest of recoveries there, man. Checking in live on YouTube land. Only seen Terry down there for the moment. Come on, where is everybody at? I know that I know the Cup Series is racing, matter of fact, right now. Not too many times that they take on Saturday night. I'm talking the real life Cup Series. So that is, I don't blame you there. For that little bit of a rain delay where we did have quite a few more viewers, I appreciate every single one of you that have decided to stick around since we hop on board with Gary Huffins here, Tell City, Indiana. I thought he was telling in City in Indiana. No, he is from Tell City, Indiana. He is just an old guy that loves to race. Come on now, come on back there for Gary Huffins. Driver number 55, Hawaiian Punch Toyota Camry. He is our third highest running Toyota Camry for the moment. He's going to try and get a little cleaner air on the front of that nose. Right now, boys and girls, the battle for the race lead is starting to heat up once again, as well as our fuel battles between these drivers. It'll be interesting. We are definitely coming to about 5 to 10 laps within that suspected fuel window range. Hopping on here with Bud Shear. Take a look at this. This is going to be the line differential between these two drivers. You got to remember, we're on 35 lap old tires here. Take a look at what these drivers will do in turns 1 and 2. Bud Shear continuing to close that gap. Up to the middle line there, turns 1 and 2. We're going to try and dive it down here on 3 and 4. I find this interesting. We are not running that apron here out of 3 and 4. These drivers obviously allowing the car to drift up to that green safer barrier. But remember, that's how we've seen some of these drivers have some incidents earlier on in the race. Got to remember that safer barrier. It's not if it'll sneak up on you. It is definitely when. It'll smack you with your grandma's purse. Speaking of smacking you with your grandma's purse, here comes some strategy calls. Austin Mice and Anthony Lane will lead the strategy calls on the pit lane right now. Looks like John Holiday. Here comes Josh Small, and as well, Travis Farmer also making his way down and into the pits. Here comes Bud Shear, number 93. This is our highest running driver for the moment. He's going to cycle out with a little bit newer tires. They'll fall off quite a bit sooner than his competitors, but he maybe have some cleaner air to work with here. This is why we love racing. This is why you join in here on Stam Studio Network. I try to break this all down for you. Take a look at the top right of your screen. It's going to be hard to miss. Take a look at when that driver number 1, Charles Van Schwick. Matter of fact, here he comes. So keep in mind on, let's see where Brandon Moore and Travis Farmer, number 7, number 8 up on this track. They will all have to make their way one whole lap around for them to finally, for this all to cycle out between these drivers. Here, I'm going to leave this track map up here. Right now, if you're a driver, you are looking for the cleanest stop that you can execute, as we, matter of fact, see a very clean stop there for Charles Van Schwick right on that virtual side. There you see the right side as well as the left side tires, so this will be a 4-tire stop. There, take a look at that right side of your screen once again. Here comes P5. They're going to circle out that white dot. That will be Brandon Moore. That P3 driver, he has now come around. Matter of fact, we're going to see it. This is the difference between these two. Brandon Moore pit on lap 32. Charles Van Schwick pit on lap 38. So Brandon Moore's tires are already, they got some little bit of heat in them, little bit of race optimal pressures for this to work out. Remember, he won't have quite as long of a fuel tank than these drivers that are just now stopping. Speaking of Sean Judson as well, that W Energy 19 Toyota Camry there is on and off of pit lane. So right now, this is going to cycle out to Brandon Moore out to the race lead. Bud Shear to P2 for the moment, 2.5 seconds back. But remember, Bud as well as, I believe it was Bud there, number 93, Burger King Machine, making me hungry up there, Bud. This driver is definitely on a little bit newer tires. Speaking of newest tires of them all, number 19 Toyota. Sean Judson, I'm liking this strategy call. He made this, he tried to stretch his legs out on this stop. He got to about 39 laps in, said, okay, that's enough. I'm tired of losing about 1-2 seconds a lap. Oh boy. Okay, well, I'm not sure, because I am damn sure that we've already seen Charles Van Schwick, I thought, on and off pit lane here, guys and girls in YouTube land. Correct me if I'm wrong, but now Charles Van Schwick, possible speeding penalty I am hearing from Extreme Scoring. So unfortunate run here for Charles Van Schwick. Reminds me of Alain Day here in the ARCA series race that just commenced a few hours ago at Lime Rock Park. One of the fastest, if not the fastest cars out there on track, getting hit with a unfortunate penalty where we will have to see where this all cycles out to. And don't count out Charles by any means here. This driver has definitely shown the pace. Matter of fact, second to fastest lap time out here on the speedway. This is, it's just going to make this race even more fun to watch as things continue to dwindle a little bit closer to halfway. I'm going to treat you guys once again to the sights and sounds of the racetrack. Come on, stick with us here on Stam Studio Network. My name's Sean Stam. I'll be right back with you up here in the booth. slowly crank this puppy back down. Sean Stam back up with you here in the booth. And once again, I appreciate every single one of you joining in here live on coverage. Or if you're watching the race replay back, sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And real quick, I did want to bring up the weather here tonight. Remember, we started at a track temp, I believe it was 86 degrees Fahrenheit. We're still sitting at that 86 degrees as we continue to work our way a little bit closer towards sunset. It really hasn't changed track conditions all that much, although the humidity point, I believe, has gone down here just a slight bit. Welcome in here back to live Bump and Run Cup Series racing from the virtual Kentucky Speedway, where we have Brandon Moore, Bud Shear, Sean Judson as our top three. You might be asking, why does that sound so familiar here? Well, Brandon Moore, this driver number 43, not even in the ARCA, but as well as the Cup Series races, he thrives on strategy. He has the ultimate pace, but he makes these strategy calls work. This is a mathematician behind the wheel here. At the same time, also a Richard Petty, I guess, if you will, here with the pace that he brings out into the racetrack. Brandon Moore, he will be on a little bit older tires, remember, than Bud Shear, as well as Sean Judson, even Travis Farmer. A little bit newer sets of general tires here. But, I mean, we've seen it time and time throughout this whole season. That's why we've seen Brandon Moore. We are seeing this driver continue to lead our playoff points, and this is the penultimate round here once again, so championship race is just 1 week away out there from the virtual Phoenix Raceway. There you see it once again on the bottom of your screen. Our points leader, Bud Shear. Second, was Brandon Moore. There he is, just minus 11 points back, but leading this race, it puts him up in the lead of the point standings. Then, of course, Charles Van Swick there. Unfortunate for, I do believe it once was again a speeding penalty for that Goat Lives Matter number 23. I'll have to, matter of fact, I'll search for that replay here as we hop on board with Charles, and maybe we can see and listen in if he locked it up or just sent it in there on the pit entry. So here this is Charles coming down to pit lane here. Not really a lockup, although it did seem a little quick. That's just the only thing that I can possibly think of here, unless he was speeding coming out of his pit box. But it is unfortunate, but it's by no means the end of the race here for Charles. He's only sitting one lap back. Matter of fact, he's in that lucky doggy position. Barking. He is not. Okay, god dang. Apologies here. Josh Small is in that lucky dog position, barking, trying to hope a caution flag comes out here and get that wave around. Gary Huffins is right here. Same sort of strategy call here. Matter of fact, Gary Huffins is below the apron there. Thought he was coming down to pit here in that number 55 Toyota Camry. Just faking us all out up here in the booth, but Gary, once again, he's telling Tell City, Indiana, hello. There you go. That's I got that one off the tongue the right way here. Trying to cruise away with this top 10 finish. He sits in this P9 spot right now. Here we go. Once again, though, boys and girls, Brandon Moore, Bud Shear. Those little bit of newer tires coming into play right now. Matter of fact, I say a little bit. It's a 5-lap differential between these two drivers, between Moore and Shear. Right now, I'll tell you what. Brandon Moore, he is going to try to play the cleanest defense he can. Try and send Bud Shear out and around that outside line. Get Bud to, very respectfully, cook those right sides and try and shave off that tire differential that is between these two right now. Brandon Moore, he knows he's at this disadvantage right here as there we go once again. Bud Shear out into the race lead. That's just the tire difference here, but with that slight little bit of a checkup there of a little battle that we saw between Brandon Moore and Bud Shear, that was the slightest bit of difference that Brandon was trying to shove on Bud Shear's right sides. Although it happened quick, that could definitely be a factor later in this race as I bring up this pit strategy one more time here. There you see it on that right side. Bud pitting on lap 37. Brandon Moore there pitted lap 32. So just the older tires is, look at there, back to Sean Judson here, although he is 7.8 seconds back respectfully. Hey, he does have a little bit of some new rubber to work with there. Tell you also has some new rubber to work with here. Oh God, I'll be hearing about that one all night. Travis Farmer, he says P4 right now. It's 2 spots gained since that drop of the green. I don't hate where this driver is also sitting in this call. These drivers are all trying to play chess, try to play some math right now. It's you saw it as we hopped on board with Anthony Lane earlier on. We're hitting about 180 miles an hour in these ARCA Menard Series cars. Got some really nice battles here up and through the racetrack. At least right now it's going to be between Austin Mice and Anthony Lane. Whoa, we are almost halfway there. I don't know how many else of you are living on a prayer, but man, Bud Shear right now got that 0.7 of a second gap. It looks like it's going to continue to grow. Austin Mice, Anthony Lane, this gap is continuing to do the opposite of grow, shorten between Mr. Lane and Mice. Remember earlier on in the race here, guys and gals, Austin Mice was actually showing some speed, top 3 up in the race. Same sort of strategy call as just about Travis Farmer up there in front of him, so we'll have to see what happens here and where Austin ends up this race. And while we have a moment, no, not to crank it up here, but a look at the original race, the race start, the drop of the green flag. Take a look at this. I know we're 60 laps into this thing, but I mean, just shout out to all these bump and run ARCA Series drivers. Brian Huntley Jr., once again, I really hope that you're starting to feel just a little bit better here. But the guys out here on track, we're keeping it all clean, all moving and grooving. I mean, look at this race start. It was really, really nice here. It's really nice battles all up and through the track. We only have 2 drivers out of the race at the moment, which is Willie B. Roberts and Xavier Salgado. It's once again, you can't get much better than this. Our Cup Series in Bump and Run will be coming at you live from the Chicago Street Course after a 2-week little break here for summer. If that Cup Series is something that you want to get a hold of and race in, you're seeing the racecraft, you're seeing the speed and the competitiveness between all of these drivers. Ask for that Discord link, and I got you here. Let them know you come from Stam Studio Network. You won't want to miss out, believe me, or if you don't after the race, definitely tune into the broadcast here. Here's Brandon Moore. Looks like he's going to make another mathematician call work here. This is a little earlier on in this stop because it was lap 36, I believe we saw this driver pit 37. Brandon Moore makes his lap on 63, so it is like a couple laps early, although I don't hate this pit call. We'll have to see where, once again, it's all going to see where things cycle out. This is why I love the Bump and Run Cup and ARCA Series, because we do have these green flag pit stops. We have, what's the word here? Oh God, it's escaping my mind. What is it? We have, okay, options to work with here. Strategies there. That is the call I'm working with. Why are things escaping my mind here tonight? I think I've watched a little too much racing. Woke up there with the Cup Series. Saw ARCA Series going at it. Oh, saw Travis Farmer going at it. Getting into the wall here. Out and on that safer barrier out of 2. That happened right in front of Robert Armal here. It's going to be interesting if Travis Farmer makes his way down and onto pit lane. No, he's going to stay out. That was quite a big smacker-rooney there for Travis Farmer, Rooney. Hopefully all the pace is left up in it. He's going to try and stay a little bit further out on this strategy call here for the moment, as here comes Bud Shear to complete lap 67. Goodness, I don't know how you guys and gals are doing this every single week, treating me well and sticking with me here on Stamp Studio Network. Go ahead and enjoy another crank this puppy up. Sights and sounds of the racetrack. I know it's right within our pit stop strategy calls. I'll be right back before these drivers start to get a little too deep in that strategy. crank this puppy back down before I get too excited. Here comes Josh Small, Charles Van Swick. Although these two drivers are shown one lap down, this is battling for the... Goodness gracious. Trying to get up to that lucky doggy spot as Dale Rapp and Brandon Moore find themselves one lap down here. This is just another pit stop strategy. It's all going to cycle out here. As a matter of fact, speaking of cycle out, here comes Travis Farmer as well as Austin Meisel come in on on lap 71. So these drivers trying to split this race up into thirds. Austin Meisel, you got to be careful. Do not speed and do not roll past your pit stop sign here. We're going to hop on board with Austin Meisel. Matter of fact, Bud Shear makes his way back and down pit lane as well. Right sides are up on Travis Farmer's machine. That was a nice stop for Austin Meisel as we're going to hop on board with Bud Shear. Should be about the first or second pit stop down here. Kicks it down into neutral for the crew. That was a little slow on the stop for Bud Shear. These are tenths of a second that all matter out here. It's going to be interesting to see where Bud Shear comes back out to. Sean Judson, Anthony Lane also in as well. Dale Rapp, driver the 52, is going to come around to finish this time and take away the lead from these drivers. 52 Trackhouse Racing Chevy SS, although will eventually cycle back and out around. Right now, I don't hate the call. If the caution comes out right now, Dale Rapp looks like the smartest man in iRacing. He'll have Brandon Moore, Bud Shear, Sean Judson all right there back with them. Matter of fact, Sean Judson makes his way down and off of pit lane. Charles Van Swick now staying out, trying to hope for a caution. Charles is the driver who needs it most right now here, respectfully, because he was one of the fastest runners. He is up here in our point standings. At least he was here before the start of this race. Charles Van Swick, he finds himself up to P5 for the moment. He'll still need to come down and make a green flag pit stop. Lap 74 out of 125. Charles Van Swick, Josh Small, Anthony Lane, that P10 driver right there. This is going to get pretty close right now because, once again, these drivers should cycle out to just about to a lap down. Brandon Moore with the race lead for the moment. He's once again trying to make that long run strategy work that we have seen time and time again. He's going to take that spot around Dale Rapp. That is just how fast Brandon Moore is. He is able to cycle out and around Dale already just about 2-3 laps into this strategy. Josh Small's Ford Mustang number 12 makes his way down and into pit lane. Here we go, 75 out of 125. We're going to be coming to the good stuff. We're going to be starting to see the cream rise to the top. Speaking of it here, Bud Shear, number 93, says, I'm sorry, Dale, but here, I got places to be. He doesn't even give the bump. He doesn't give the run. Door, quarter, very clean pass done for number 93, our one and only Canadian driver up here tonight. Bud, appreciate you joining us here and racing time and time again throughout this whole season. Burger King Machine showing some pace here tonight. Dale Rapp, that driver who stayed out just a little bit longer on that strategy, is going to pit from P3 once again. There you see Norwood, Ontario there. Number 93, our one and only driver not shown from the stage, at least on the graphics timing and scoring. But man, you see him there. I mean, he's continuing to, I believe, lead us in the points. It'll be interesting to see if this number 93 has the short track pace here in 1 week's time at our championship run, coming at you live from the virtual Phoenix Raceway. Here we go. Once again, Travis Farmer and Charles Van Swick. This battle is starting to heat up between these drivers a little bit, although Travis Farmer is shown last pitting on lap 70. Should have those newer Ford General tires to work with here. Man, Charles Van Swick, that's just how much pace this driver has. Last pit on lap 39, we'll call it 40. Charles Van Swick, though, he will have to be pitting for fuel any moment time. Charles, oh no, Travis, no. Charles was probably grinning seeing that out in front of him there because he's hoping for a caution. This is all this strategy can ask for at the moment. Matter of fact, he's just throwing the white flag, throwing the towel in here for number 23. He did everything he could, stayed out until the very last lap on that fuel tank. Unfortunately, Charles, he's going to have to need a miracle in 1 week's time for our championship. Brandon Moore once again cycling back out into the race lead here over Bud Shear, that driver number 93. Our top 2 runners in the points here. You can start to kind of see why. But Brandon Moore, Bud Shear, time and time again. It doesn't matter the track, doesn't matter configuration, it doesn't matter mile and a half cookie cutter like tonight out at Kentucky. Give them a short track, give them a road course, hell. Go ahead and throw in a super speedway. It doesn't matter. Time and time again. Brandon Moore, Bud Shear. Cream rises to the top here in the ARCA series. Man, this has been fun throughout this whole season, although it does kind of put a little tear in my eye. I believe we are finalizing a contract here for Bump and Run, both ARCA and Cup for next season. Once again, Brian Utley Jr., hope you are hopefully going to have a speedy recovery for you there. Anthony Lane, Josh Small. There's probably quite a few you missing behind the scenes here. John Hall. There's too many to name. Sincerely appreciate every single one of you. Speaking of appreciate, every single one of you joining in here live on Sam Studio Network. Hey, bottom of my heart, you are all who makes this happen. Speaking of who makes this happen, hey, right now we're going to have to take a look at these lap time differences between Brandon Moore, Bud Shearer. Here we go. It is a lot of green for driver number 93. He was once about 1.5, call that 2 seconds back. No sirree, Bobcat tail. Moore versus Shearer. Here we go. Now 8.5 seconds separating these 2 drivers. That is 4 tenths. Call that back to 2, back down to 1. There you see lap 80, 2 tenths. Was that a whole half of a second gained last lap by for Bud Shear? I know Brandon Moore is trying to make these tires last right now, but a half second a lap, I don't know if that's going to work. Here we go. Brandon Moore, Bud Shear, P1, P2. Lap cars move. Get out of the way here, boys and girls. Josh Small tries to take that inside line. Although he has shown 2 laps down, he is fighting for that lucky doggy barky spot. 5 tenths, half of a second separating Moore and Shear. How many times have we seen this? It is going to come down to this last sort of not even half, but even closer than that. Call it last 3 tenths of the race between these drivers. Shoot, we've even sometimes seen it come down to just a lap 20, even 10 laps to go here. We are just now starting to approach that range. Moore, you better run, you better hide, because Bud Shearer, he is a shark that smells blood in the water right now. He's got that newer tire set compared to these 2 drivers. Don't count out Sean Judson, although he is 13 and a half seconds back. If something does sort of transpire between these 2 drivers, it will get, man, don't count out Sean. I like how Sean spells his name. He spells it the right way. That is S-H-A-W-N. Judson, driver P3. Back to battle for the race lead here. It is eating up. It is boiling. Number 93, he's going to try and dive it around the inside there with these newer tires. Brandon Moore looking up the hill out of turns 3 and 4. Not going to have what it takes there for that 93. Regroup and rearm here, bud. You definitely have the pace. You have the speed. Josh Small is sitting right here with these drivers, although 2 laps down. Although he is showing that he has the speed to hang with these. Battle for the race lead. There you see it. Battle for about, it is, I can't even bring it up anymore here. It was 2.5, 1.5, 0.5, now 0.15 separating Moore, Shear, Sean Judson, 13.5 back. This is a battle between our front 2 runners. Who do you have? Let me know down here live in YouTube land below. Remember what I mentioned last time this strategy call. I tried to say that Brandon Moore is just trying to send Bud Shear to maybe possibly, contact between the 2 heading in turns 3 and 4. Brandon Moore is just trying to do everything he can to send Bud Shear to try and force his tires and send them off of a mountain. But you got to be careful here. If you are Brandon Moore, you don't want to make that same mistake yourself. He's going to try and dive it down the hill in turns 1 and 2. Door quarter clear for the moment. Looking out the back bumper of our race leader. Contact That was pretty heavy contact for Bud Shearer. We're going to have to see if there's any right side damage, if there's any aerodynamic damage. You best believe iRacing simulates it from nose to tail, especially these newer scanned ARCA Menard Series cars. Brandon Moore, Chevy. Bud Shearer, Chevy. Toyota Camry. Sean Judson, 13.5 back. Here we go. Once again, boys and girls, Brandon Moore, Bud Shearer, side by side. Runs are not quite even yet. As here we go, Josh Small is having his hand in the cookie jar right now. Popcorn bucket out for that number 12. Yes, cookies and popcorn. Little sweet, little salty. Josh Small looking around that outside. He is not in this battle as far as the lap and timing and scorings go. 2 laps down. He's trying to get to 1 lap down and fight for that lucky doggy bark, bark, bark spot. Brandon Moore, Bud Shearer, 43, continues to send Bud Shearer to force his right sides, asking them just a little bit more than what he would like to. Hopping on with Bud Shearer here, we can probably start to hear these General Tires squeal for their lives. I'm loving what Brandon Moore here has done. He has stayed in front of Bud. He is continuing to make him run and shred through these tires. Brandon looking down that hill once again. Josh Small with this battle for the overall race lead. Bud Shearer, P2, he looks around and around for that outside spot. We are seeing some Super Bowl-esque defense right now between Brandon Moore. Bud Shearer, door quarter clear for that number 93 once again. Not clear for Josh Small. You have got to be the world's biggest fan of Josh if you're Brandon Moore right here saying battle him till his heart can't take it anymore. Here we go, Brandon Moore tries to look down the inside, a little bit of cleaner air on that Chevy SS. He's not going to have the drive off though. That will be Bud Shearer to the race lead for the moment, unless Josh Small continues to get in this battle a little bit more respectfully. I say that respectfully because he is running now in that 3rd spot. Once again, fighting for that final driver spot as we see Brandon Moore, 43. Job accomplished there. Soldier, return to base. You can regroup and rearm, get your butt out there for just about 30 laps to go coming to here, just a few moments time. Brandon, you sent Bud once again. I know I can't, I'm starting to sound like a broken record here, but you did exactly what you were tasked here, man. You sent Bud, shredded those right sides if you were hoping for it. Number 93, Burger King machine. I didn't even know that they had Burger Kings up there up on our northern border up there in Norwood, Ontario. Apparently they no, I'm just kidding there. Burger King, of course, a global machine there. But you keep this pace up there, man. You will definitely be a well-known global driver in the STAM Studio Network universe as we continue to rewrite and write the history books here in the sim racing universe. Here at Kentucky Speedway, the Wonder 188 is starting to continue to come to a close. Lap 95 out of 125. Oh boy, I got to catch my breath here. Enjoy one last crank it up here on STAM Studio Network for this race. Crank this back down real quick because I was getting ready to scream during a crank it up, which is a Definite no-go there. Don't want to make anybody deaf here. But if a caution flag were to fly right here, this is why it's such a big deal. We got Bud Shearer, 13.5 seconds over Sean Judson, Austin Mice. Our top three right now, these drivers on this later strategy looking to try and make it work right now, just hoping that a caution flies and it will trap all these other cars, at least under caution, one lap down until they get that wave around. Let's see, back to racing action here. We saw there during the crank it up there, that was an immaculate save there for Anthony Lane. Somehow hung on to it out there on the exit of 2. We'll keep things moving and grooving right now. Man, Bud Shearer and Sean Judson were probably hoping, at least Sean Judson was hoping there for that to be a caution there, seeing that driver make their way down and off the racetrack, but able to somehow keep it under wraps as here comes Austin Mice down and into pit lane. You might be asking yourself here, where are the replays at here, Sean? Well, okay, don't fret here, boys and girls. This is, once again, the Bump and Run Cup Series. We don't have that many race replays to cut to. There was that one earlier where, of course, Charles Van Schwick was a little fast, we think, coming onto pit lane, at least according to Extreme Scoring. We're still waiting on the official word on it, but at least the SSN scoring, you can call it there, what was an immaculate run for Charles. Not only this race here tonight, but throughout the rest of the race season. Charles did not need that tonight, as just mistakes will definitely kill you. Coming to our championship in 1 week's time from the virtual Phoenix Raceway. He'll still definitely be close enough if our front 2 runners do start to have issues. Speaking of our front 2 runners, Bud Shearer, as well as Brandon Moore running P3 and P4 out on track right now. Here we see it once again. This is this later race stop strategy that we've seen here. Got to remember, Brandon Moore last pit on lap 92 compared to Bud pitting on lap 99. There you see in the graphics as it updates here this lap. So once again, Brandon's going to be on a little slower set of tires, little older set of Goodyears. However, Bud Shearer's going to be right there with them. We saw it transpire the last pit stop cycle. Matter of fact, the one before that, I think it's going to be same horn, same toot, different horn. I don't know what that's called there. I'm starting to pull things out of my playbook here that I didn't know I had here. Speaking of playbooks that I didn't know they had, well, I'll switch this right back around on you. Sean Judson once again. Oh, no, Sean, no. He looks a bit fast there, locking up the rear tires heading into the pits. Once again, that is the correct way to spell Sean. I was hoping that this pit stop strategy would work for this 2,600 oval iRating driver, 4.5 safety rating. That's about just the highest that you can get a class rating driver there. That's Sean Judson trying to make this cycle strategy work. It won't work for the race lead, but don't count him out of a really nice points run out of our penultimate race here tonight. Championship coming just 1 week time. Anthony Lane finds himself P1, Brandon Moore P2, Bud Shearer P3, Sean Judson is coming off the pits here, P4. That's a really not a bad stop to cycle out on there. Here comes Charles Van Schwick. He's been damn quick throughout this whole season. Right now he is finally shown back up on the lead lap here, but once again here, if you're new, it's all going to cycle back around here unless he does get that ever so special word. It starts with a Y. It is the color of Dale Rapp's number 52 there. One of the main colors of it. I'm not even going to say the word here. I'm not going to bring it to existence because this could all cycle out to basically anybody's ball game at this point. Well, oh no, right as I mentioned it, Anthony Lane, Silver Fox Racing, number 81. He's going to come down and pits here. It's getting hard to sell this out here because looks like all these strategies are just about to find and work their way through. Brandon Moore, our highest I rating oval driver right now, backing up to the race lead with quite a few wins on this season. Works its way number 43. But for how long, once again, will he have enough of a gap? That is 20 laps to go out of a racetrack that is more abrasive than your ex-girlfriend's legs after she hadn't shaved them in about a month. Boy, this is, Bud, You better start running. Brandon, you better start hanging on here. It's a 2.5 second gap separating these two drivers. Oh boy, 20 laps to go. Who has it? Who is going to get this all done? 2.2 seconds separating more between Shear. Take a look. It's going to dwindle, I believe, between these two. It's already, there you see it. It's on the left side of your screen. Top left, matter of fact. Shear is already now within 2 seconds. 19 laps to go here from Kentucky. More, you better run, or you better hide, man. $14 live viewers coming in to check out the finish here at the Bump and Run ARCA penultimate series here at the, man, it has been a blast throughout this whole season. It's going to cycle out to not tonight, but 1 week from now at the virtual Phoenix Raceway. Although we have had Charles Van Schwick very fast throughout tonight. He did get hit with a penalty earlier this race back, and now a lap down. As here comes a really nice battle between Austin Mice. We're going to have Josh Small, that number 12 Ford Mustang. Once again, he's getting his nose a little dirty, a little nitty, and a little gritty, coming just 18 laps to go. As once again, take a look at that gap separated between Brandon Moore. 2 seconds last time we saw it, last looked at it. It is now 1.6 as shrunk 4/10. We're looking at a half of a second in 1 lap here between Brandon Moore and Bud Shearer. Is our Canadian buddy, our friend from up here in the north. He's got quite a few lap down cars to work with. This is going to be even more dirty air deposited on the front of this Chevy SS. He might even have to look 3 wide here. That's the number 12, Josh Small. He's going to be slow here at a 3 and 4. That's going to compromise Bud's exit. He's going to lose a little time here, although he does gain this lap. Go to 1.2 seconds separating our front 2 race leaders. He lost there a little bit out of 3 and 4. 16 laps to go, separating between Brandon Moore and Bud Shear. Mr. Sean Judson sits 17.5 seconds back. If something does start to transpire between our front 2 runners, hey, he is 17 seconds back, but he is on this strategy, the same race winning strategy than our front 2 drivers. Brandon Moore, Tide Machine, number 43, has door quarter cleared Austin Mice, put Austin now down a lap. Here comes, that's Charles Van Schwick, Goat Lives Matter, number 23 machine, next gen number placement. I don't know if I'm a fan, but I am a fan of the pace here tonight. Charles Van Schwick, this is going to present Bud Shear to close in ever so slightly what was 2.5 seconds back. Just 0.6 seconds back here. Brandon Moore is now running away from this shark that smells blood in the water here. Hopping on board with Bud here once again. Our one and only driver up here from our northern border. Our friendly buddy, our friendly neighbor, Shearer P2. Moore P1. Judson still trying to fight off Farmer for that final driver interview spot. Here we go. This is Austin Mice. He is respectfully racing his race. He is keeping his line. It is a little bit higher up on the racetrack, but he is not giving the point by. Hey, I don't blame him. You are racing for this spot. You want to race that leader a little bit harder in case that caution flag does fly. Not wanting to get into this battle too hefty here, as here comes number 93, Bud Shearer. Contact between the two going into 3. That was some pretty hefty contact there. Man, oh man, I don't know how these drivers were able to make it stick somehow, some way. Bud Shearer, door quarter clear, not for long though. Here we go, runs are even into turn 1 and 2, coming to 12 laps to go. This is still anybody's race. Once again, we have seen Brandon Moore play this immaculate defense. He's gonna get loose here at a turn number 2. Austin Mice depositing the most dirtiest air I have quite frankly seen in these ARCA series. Bud Shearer was able to make his way out and around and through that race lead. Don't count out Brandon Moore. We'll hop on board with him here. Coming to 12, 11 laps to go here from Kentucky Speedway. It's a cookie cutter. It's a 1.5 miles, but we are out of the cast. Brandon Moore, he is not out of this race win at all, as he is continuing to fight for grip here out of turn 2. No, Brandon, no. That was not the exit this driver was looking for. 2 coming to 0.3 of a second, starting to separate our front 2 runners. Alrighty, who has it here, boys and girls? I think we have possibly seen this race pass for the race win, but I mean, Brandon Moore, he shows us week in, week out, not only the ARCA series, but as well as the Cup. Brandon Moore, he is a fighter. He knows how to play the Super Bowl defense. He will switch it right back around, flip it to the offensive side, although he is on that little bit longer race strategy here. Austin Mice is right up in these three. That McConey setup shot number 97. He's showing that he has the pace here, but right now separates our front two runners, coming to 9 laps to go. Even more dirty air that Brandon Moore has to deal with here out of 2. We've seen him slide it out of the exit. His car continuing to build on this tight condition. Bud out to the race lead. Have we seen what it takes for the Burger King machine? Number 93 Chevy SS. Looks like we very well have, as he's continuing to grow this gap ever so slightly. That lap time history, that is a lot of green for Bud, a lot of red for, a lot of red for Brandon there, as he sits 0.1 second, 0.1, now that 0.2 second back on 1:15. These lap times were damn near identical. Lap 1:16, they'll get back to 1/10 of a second separating them two between lap 1:17. We're coming to 7 laps to go. Shearer, Moore, this has been a battle for the ages between these two drivers. It's all going to come down to this. You got a feel here for Austin Mice. He's in a very predicament spot here, as once again our front runners within the points there, Brandon Moore and Bud Shearer. Bud leading us in the points, as well as Brandon Moore. They're sitting P2. Austin, he knows this going into this race. As we hop on board with Austin here, you don't want to get too close to one of these race leaders, I was going to say, and point leaders, but he's saying no frets there. He's in such a predicament spot here because Austin is trying to get his lap back. Sure, he is in that lucky dog spot, but if he can get back and around and on that lead lap, that makes his job just that much easier. If the caution flag does fly, I don't hate this run at all. It's because he definitely does have the pace to be running up within these front two runners, although he has been right within our front two between Bud and Brandon. He's definitely showing us that he has the pace. Speaking of pace, coming to 5 laps to go. Our Alpha 1 Foundation, 5 laps to go. Shearer, Moore, Judson, our top 3. Judson continues to fight off that final driver interview spot. He has been way further out of the gas than I have heard any other driver here tonight. Matter of fact, we'll hop on board with him. Take a look. We're normally hitting about 180, 185 going into turn 1 and 2. This is Sean possibly on just a little fuel save strat. It was only, sure, it was 182, but just a split second here. Matter of fact, he'll stay in that gas, so Sean just trying to get to at least the checker flag here. We'll at least hop on board with him. 3 and 4. Yeah, that's about optimal lifting lines there. Sean just keeping it all out on track here. Speaking of all out on track, Austin Mice, he was fighting up there between those front two spots. He has still retained that spot, at least the track position, but he is still our lucky doggy barking, trying to ask for that caution flag to come out here. Coming to 4, time 3 laps to go. 7/10 of a second separating Bud Shearer as well as Brandon Moore. Once again, the whole season, it doesn't quite come down here tonight, but the point standings, they will all come down and show themselves here next week at the virtual Phoenix Raceway for that championship race. If you're not doing anything, come in and join us here on Stam Studio Network. Speaking of, join us if you're looking to join this racing series, both the ARCA as well as Cup Series. Let me know. I'll be getting you the Discord link there down below, and you never know, you could be seeing you yourself, your own self, taking that checkered flag here on Stam Studio Network. Make sure you hit these guys up, and Brian Huntley Jr. once again, just hoping that's for a speedy recovery there. Speaking of a speedy recovery, man, oh man, Bud Shearer, this is starting to get tight once again here between Brandon Moore Although he did pass him for the race lead, it is only half a tenth of a second. He got the race lead, but he is not running away by any means. Just a half a tenth of a second separating Shearer and Brandon Moore. That number 43 machine, he is going to fight with all of his might. White flag is out. Anything goes at this point, even if the biggest wreck of all, it will just come down to the checkered flag here. Bud Shearer, he is trying to work his way around Travis Farmer, around 3 and 4 for the final time tonight. He's going to drift his way up and through the racetrack. Here comes Brandon Moore, 3/10 of a second back. He's not going to be close enough. Congratulations, Bud Shearer. That's huge, not only for the race win tonight at Kentucky Speedway, but that's huge going into our championship run. Only 1 week away from it. There you see our front 2 runners in our point standings. Congratulations, number 93, on that race win. Brandon Moore's right there with them. I said it's huge there on the points. That's Brandon, he keeps that gap quite small, finishing right there with them. It's like Mario Kart. Come on here, guys and gals. If you're trying to get this point situation figured out, finisher 1 gets a little more points than finisher 2 there after this race. And that, well, you've seen it. They're scrolling across the bottom. The battles can't get much closer than this. Congratulations, Bud Shearer, on another win in the Bump and Run ARCA series. Stick with us here on Stam Studio Network. We will have live driver interviews in just a few moments' time. Bud Shearer, welcome to Victory Lane here. You got to serve yourself a coffee.
Yes, sir.
Holy, oh my, what a race, what a strategy call. You're going to join us down here in Extreme Scoring Victory Lane. What is growing through your minds right here with that really nice advancement in the points heading into championship weekend?
No caution. That's all I wanted. No caution.
Oh man, well, you're right here. It's all done. It's all out the window this weekend, and then, well, it all comes down to next weekend. But another immaculate race finish for you here, and that's why we see you up here in the points. Who we shout now to who makes this all possible other than this very, very fast Burger King Chevy SS?
I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast every week, and B&R for allowing me to race here and destroy a bunch of cars every week. And I'd like to thank RBS, Sean, and Justin. And yeah, come back out and do her again next week.
Well, that's a great segue into my next question before we let you get going here, Bud. How do you feel going into a short track like Phoenix next week for that championship?
I hate mile and a halves with a passion. I can't drive them.
Oh, sure, Mr. Okay. Sorry, what were you saying?
So, I'm a short track guy, so this is going to get interesting.
Oh, boy. Okay, so you heard it here, folks. Driver who hates mile and a halves coming away with the win here on quite a few of them. He loves the short track racing, and that's where, once again, sounded like a broken record, but hey, Phoenix, catch us next weekend. Congratulations, Bud, here once again, and best of luck to you going into it next week.
Thank you kindly, man.
Mr. Brandon Moore, you got yourself a copy. Oh, okay. We will wait just a few moments on Mr. Moore here. Sean Judson, I'm liking the way it's spelt. Once again, spelt the right way. You got yourself a copy.
I do.
Alrighty, this is another really nice strategy call here tonight. You kind of flew under the radar for quite a bit of the race here tonight, but looks like you'll make that fuel stop strategy work. You'll be our final driver interview spot.
Yeah, the first run I ran it out coming into pit road. I was just trying to get a lap lead because, Bud and Brandon are aliens when it comes to racing, and it's tough to get a lap to get that extra point. But I ran it out of gas and then decided to short my cycle a little bit on the following pit stops.
See, that's really interesting, Sean, because I was kind of praising and expecting the long run strategies to work here tonight, and it's also interesting because I mean Brandon Moore as well as yourself, I believe, two different strategies, but I think that's finishing second and third to one another. So it's all cool to kind of see this all cycle out. Who makes this all possible for you here, Sean?
The team, Fat Boys Motorsports, Scott, Cole, AJ, W Energy, Bittinger Custom Creations. You guys for putting on the broadcast. Do a great job. Love the broadcast. I go back and watch them every week, and BNR for putting on the league.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Sean. That goes a extremely long way there behind the scenes. Have a great rest of your night, and I'm still not seeing any Brandon Moore action in the interviews, so I guess we're all going to go catch some real-life cup racing, at least the end of Atlanta.
Yep, have a good one.
Yeah, for sure, man. You guys do the same. Every single one of you joining in here once again at Sam Studio Network. I appreciate every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me here. Getting paid to do what I love. I appreciate every single one of you. So that being said, thank you so much for watching here on Stam Studio Network. Before we do get going, I will bring up these official race results here, and then the ARCA Championship 1 week from now. Let's see. I'm going to fly through these because I know Real Life Cup Atlanta is on. Bud Shearer, congratulations once again on the win. Brandon Moore, P2. Sean Judson, P3. Travis Farmer, just outside of driver interview range. Austin Mice, Anthony Lane, Charles Van Schwick, Dale Rapp, Gary Huffins, Josh Small, Robert Aramal, John Holiday, Willie B. Roberts, Xavier Salgado, running out 14 drivers. We should keep them coming. Okay, that's it for the moment. Thank you all once again joining. Have a great rest of your night. Drive home safe. I was going to say drive home virtually safe. Whatever it might be. Thank you so much. I don't know. Have a great rest of your night. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.